A few weeks ago, a 78-year-old man walked into the office. He moved with difficulty, leaning on a cane, and with each step you could see the discomfort he felt. As soon as he sat in front of me, the first thing he said was, "Doctor, I can't take it anymore. Every morning I wake up with my knees stiff as if they were made of wood, and I need several minutes before I can get moving. I feel like life is slipping away between pain and stiffness." His story is not unique. In fact, every day thousands of older people arrive at clinics sharing the same problem. Knee stiffness is not just a passing nuisance. It is an obstacle that keeps you from enjoying simple things like taking a walk, climbing stairs, or bending down to pick something up from the floor. We often think joint pain is simply an inevitable consequence of age, but the truth is there are ways to ease it, regain mobility, and feel freedom in every step again. Knee stiffness affects far more than the body. It harms the mood too. Those who suffer from it often feel frustration, sadness, and even fear of losing their independence. I myself have seen how active, energetic people gradually isolate themselves because pain keeps them from doing what they once enjoyed. And that loneliness, added to helplessness, can be even harder than the physical pain. But here's the surprising part. Amid so many expensive treatments, pills, and long therapies, the solution that has most astonished my patients is neither complicated nor out of reach. In fact, it is something you probably never would have imagined. There is a natural oil capable of soothing knee stiffness in just a few minutes. I am not talking about a miracle product, but a simple remedy, backed by the experience of orthopedic physicians and the testimony of many older people who have tried it and been surprised by the results. Throughout this video, I want to share with you the story of this oil, how it works, how to apply it, and above all, how to integrate it into your daily life so your knees stop being an obstacle and go back to giving you freedom. I assure you that what you will hear can make the difference between living with pain or regaining your mobility. Before continuing, I would like to get to know you a little better. Tell me in the comments, how old are you and where are you watching from? I'm sure many people of different countries and ages will identify with you, and together we will form a community that shares and supports one another in the pursuit of a fuller, pain-free life. Why knees stiffen with age? When we talk about knee stiffness, it is important first to understand what is happening inside them. The knee is not simply a hinge that opens and closes. It is one of the most complex joints in the human body. It is formed by the femur, tibia, and patella, joined by a system of ligaments, tendons, and muscles that give it stability. For this whole mechanism to work smoothly, there is articular cartilage, a kind of cushion that coats the ends of the bones and prevents them from rubbing directly. In youth, this cartilage is strong, flexible, and able to bear heavy loads. However, over the years it begins to wear down. It is a natural process, part of aging. The cartilage loses elasticity, grows thinner, and becomes less able to cushion movement. Little by little, the bones start to rub more against each other, and movements that were once automatic, like rising from a chair or climbing a step, become painful and stiff. Cartilage wear is not the only culprit. A decrease in synovial fluid also plays a role. This thick fluid lubricates the joint and acts like oil within a gear. With less synovial fluid, friction increases and mobility decreases. It is as if an engine began to run dry. Every movement creates more resistance, more noise, and more deterioration. Other factors compound the problem. One is a sedentary lifestyle. When we stop moving regularly, the muscles around the knee lose strength, and weak muscles mean less support for the joint. It is a vicious cycle. The more it hurts, the less we move, and the less we move, the more it hurts. Obesity also plays a decisive role. Every extra kilo multiplies the load the knee must bear. It is estimated that for every additional kilogram of body weight, the knee receives 4 kilograms of extra pressure when walking. Imagine what that means when climbing stairs or standing for a long time. That constant overload accelerates wear and favors stiffness. Old injuries are another silent factor. A poorly treated sprain, a fracture, a meniscus surgery, or even a hard blow that seemed unimportant can leave long-term traces. Although at the time the pain disappears, the joint never returns to being exactly the same. Years later, that knee begins to protest with stiffness, inflammation, and limited movement. I especially remember the case of Julian, a 70-year-old patient who came to the office because he had stopped walking long distances. In his youth, he was an amateur athlete and loved running marathons. Over the years, his knees began to take their toll. First, he gave up races, then long walks, and finally he could barely cover a few blocks without stopping because of the pain. When I asked what he felt, he told me, "It's as if my knees were made of cold iron. Each step weighs heavier than the last." His story reflects what millions of people experience worldwide. Stiffness does not appear overnight, but is the result of years of wear, unhealthy habits, and in some cases, past injuries. It is a silent enemy that settles in little by little until one day you realize you can no longer do what you used to. Understanding why this happens is the first step to confronting it, because although aging is inevitable, there are ways to care for our knees, to ease stiffness, and to regain mobility. And in this video, we will see how a remedy as simple as a natural oil can become an unexpected ally in that struggle. Common mistakes that worsen the pain. When pain and knee stiffness appear, most people look for quick relief. It is understandable. No one wants to live limited by every movement. However, in that search for immediate solutions, mistakes are made that, instead of improving the situation, end up making it worse over time. One of the most frequent is overusing painkillers without medical supervision. Many people think, if it hurts, I take a pill and carry on. The problem is that this habit masks symptoms without tackling the real cause. For a few hours, the knee seems fine, but the internal damage continues, advancing in silence. Moreover, excessive use of painkillers can harm the stomach, liver, or kidneys. I know the case of Marta, a 68-year-old woman who resorted to anti-inflammatories every day. She believed that in this way she kept stiffness at bay, but one day she ended up in the emergency room with severe gastritis caused by the continued use of medications. Another common mistake is relying solely on absolute rest. Many people think that if something hurts, the best thing is to stop moving it. And while it is true that during phases of intense inflammation, it is wise to rest, too much rest weakens the very muscles that support the joint. A knee without muscular support becomes unstable and stiffer. It is like having a door without sturdy hinges. Every movement creates more wear and pain. The ideal is not to stay still, but to find the balance between rest and gentle activity. A lack of mobility exercises is another silent trap. Simple exercises like lifting and extending the leg while seated, walking at a slow pace, or climbing a couple of steps a day can make a big difference. However, many people avoid them for fear of feeling pain. By doing so, muscles lose strength, circulation decreases, and stiffness settles in more firmly. Footwear also plays a fundamental role and is often overlooked. Shoes that are too soft, high heels, or very thin soles force the knee to work harder. Poor footwear changes the way we walk, alters posture, and overloads the joints. I have seen patients significantly improve stiffness simply by switching to more appropriate shoes with good cushioning and support. All these mistakes share something in common. They seem like small solutions or unimportant decisions, but over time they become great enemies of our knees. What begins as an everyday gesture, taking a pill, resting too much, or wearing the wrong shoes, ends up adding years of wear and stiffness. I remember Don Ernesto, a 70-year-old man who told me with a hint of sadness, "Doctor, I didn't understand why each year I walked less and felt more pain. Now I see it was my own habits that led me here." He relied on daily painkillers, spent much of the day sitting watching TV, and always wore the same worn-out sneakers. When we changed those three details, little by little, he began to notice improvement. It wasn't a miracle, but a correction of errors that were worsening the problem. The lesson is clear. Pain and stiffness do not appear overnight, and they don't disappear with a quick fix either. But we can avoid those mistakes that speed up deterioration and give our knees better conditions to recover. The oil we will discuss later is a valuable tool, but its effect will be much greater if we do not pair it with bad habits that cancel out its benefits. natural remedies, and what science says. Since ancient times, humans have sought in nature solutions to soothe pain and restore joint mobility. Long before modern medicines existed, communities already knew the power of certain oils and plants that seem to return flexibility to tired knees. One of the most widely used throughout history is sesame oil. In traditional Indian medicine known as Ayurveda, it has been applied for centuries in massages to ease muscle and joint pain. Its light texture and ability to penetrate the skin made it an ally for older adults suffering stiffness. Even today, in many Indian villages, it is still common for elders to rub their knees with this oil before walking. Another example is mustard oil, also used in Asia, especially in Pakistan and Bangladesh. It is warmed slightly and applied with circular massages over the knees, generating a heating effect that relaxes muscles and improves circulation. Although at first glance it may seem like a simple home remedy, many patients say the feeling of relief is immediate. Eucalyptus oil, for its part, has a special place in European tradition. For generations, it has been used for its anti-inflammatory properties and the freshness it provides. When applied, it produces a slight cooling sensation that calms inflammation while improving local blood flow. And we cannot forget arnica, a mountain plant used for centuries in European herbalism. Arnica gel or oil has been used to soothe blows, sprains, and joint pain. Today, studies support its anti-inflammatory and analgesic action, showing that it really helps reduce discomfort in those with osteoarthritis or chronic stiffness. What is interesting is that modern science, in many cases, has confirmed what popular wisdom already intuited. Recent research has shown that certain essential oils, such as rosemary, lavender, or turmeric, contain natural compounds with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. These compounds help reduce joint inflammation, improve local circulation, and relax the musculature surrounding the knee. Each civilization has had its own way of facing knee pain. The Greeks applied warm compresses with aromatic herbs. The Chinese combined oils with massage techniques to unblock energy in the joints. In Latin America, many grandmothers still prepare infusions and ointments from local herbs, passing down their practical knowledge from generation to generation. All these stories remind us of something important. Although medical advances are fundamental, we should not scorn the natural remedies that have accompanied humanity for centuries. In them we find not only physical relief, but also a link to our roots, to the wisdom of those who came before us. Today, science gives us a more solid basis to understand why these oils work. It is not superstition, but the action of natural compounds that have shown a real effect on inflammation, pain, and stiffness. That is precisely why so many orthopedic specialists, despite having pharmacological treatments, acknowledge that a good natural oil properly applied can be a valuable complement in an older patient's life. The oil revealed. It is time to talk about the oil that has surprised so many patients for its ability to soothe knee stiffness within minutes. Among the many we have mentioned, the one that stands out especially is mustard oil, a traditional remedy in several cultures that science is beginning to value with fresh eyes. Mustard oil has a particular effect when applied to the skin. It produces a gentle heating sensation that penetrates the affected area. This heat is not superficial. It helps stimulate blood circulation in the muscles and ligaments around the knee. By improving blood flow, cells receive more oxygen and nutrients, which helps relax the joint and reduce stiffness. The scientific explanation behind this effect lies in mustard's natural compounds, known as glucosinolates. These compounds, upon contact with the skin, release substances that generate a heating reaction. It is not a harmful burn, but a therapeutic warmth that helps tissues become more flexible. At the same time, these compounds have been shown to have anti-inflammatory properties, meaning they not only ease momentary discomfort, but also help reduce the inflammation that often accompanies stiffness. When the knee is massaged with warm mustard oil, the effect is twofold. On one hand, the massage stimulates muscle and ligament mobility. On the other, the heat promotes relaxation and immediate relief. Many patients describe the sensation as if the knee thawed, going from stiff and hard to feeling lighter and more flexible. In addition, this oil also acts on the skin's superficial nerves, sending signals that compete with the sensation of pain. In other words, it distracts the nervous system and helps reduce the perception of pain. This explains why, in just a couple of minutes, people report feeling more agile. I clearly recall a colleague in orthopedics, Dr. Ramirez, with more than 30 years' experience in sports medicine and the care of older adults. He used to tell me that, after trying multiple drugs and costly therapies in some patients with chronic stiffness, he began recommending massages with mustard oil. He would say with a smile, "What impresses me most is seeing my patients' faces of surprise when, after years of stiffness, they feel they can bend the knee more easily after a simple massage." Sometimes the simplest things work best. This does not mean mustard oil is a definitive cure or a substitute for medical treatments, but it can become a powerful, safe, and affordable ally for those seeking daily relief. The combination of warmth, massage, and natural properties makes it a useful tool to complement orthopedic care. How to use the oil correctly. Knowing which oil is appropriate is only half the journey. The other half, and perhaps the most important, is learning to use it properly. Many times patients tell me they tried a natural remedy and it didn't work, but when I ask how they applied it, I find they did so incorrectly. So in this section, I want to explain step by step how to make the most of mustard oil's properties to relieve knee stiffness. The first thing you should know is the ideal amount. There is no need to soak the skin. A small portion, about a teaspoon, is enough to cover one knee. If you apply too much, the oil won't absorb well and will end up sliding without giving the desired effect. The key is consistency, not quantity. As for frequency, it is advisable to apply at least once a day, preferably at night when the body is at rest and the joint can relax without so much strain. However, on days of greater stiffness or pain, it can also be repeated in the morning. What matters is that the massage be regular, because it is useless to apply a lot one day and then forget for weeks. Now let's talk technique. The oil should be applied warm, never too hot. You can warm it for a few seconds in a water bath or in your hands before applying. The gentle heat favors skin penetration and enhances the relaxing effect. Once on the knee, begin with circular movements around the joint. Then extend the massage upward toward the thigh and downward toward the calf. This stimulates circulation and helps the oil act not only on the knee, but also on the surrounding muscles and ligaments. The massage should last at least 10 minutes. It is not about rubbing hard, but doing it with firm yet gentle movements, as if you were slowly awakening the tissues. If someone can help you, the effect can be even more relaxing, because receiving a massage from another person allows greater depth without you having to strain the joint. There are some precautions not to overlook. Because mustard oil generates heat, it can be too strong for very sensitive skin. That is why it is recommended to do a small test on the forearm before using it on the knee. If strong irritation, excessive redness, or itching appears, it is best to dilute it with a more neutral oil, such as coconut or olive, before applying. Also, never apply it on open wounds, abrasions, or areas with rashes. Among the most common mistakes is applying it cold without any massage and expecting an immediate effect. The oil alone does not work miracles. It needs the friction of massage to activate circulation and relax the area. Another frequent error is using it for a couple of days and then abandoning it. Relief may be felt quickly, but real improvement comes with consistency, repeating the ritual night after night. I've also seen people apply the oil just before going out to walk long distances. This is not advisable because the skin is still sensitive from the heat of the massage and movement's friction can cause irritation. Ideally, apply it during rest periods when the joint can benefit most. I remember Teresa, a 74-year-old woman who told me she did not notice changes at first. When I asked how she applied it, she admitted she only smeared on a little oil without massage while watching TV. After correcting her technique and dedicating 10 minutes to daily massage, within weeks she already felt her knees more flexible upon getting up in the morning. In short, the key is not only in the oil, but in how you use it. Applying the right amount regularly, at the right temperature, and with firm yet gentle massage is what truly makes the difference. That way, your body receives not only the oil's natural properties, but also the benefit of movement, warmth, and relaxation. Results in real patients. Talking about theories and scientific explanations is important, but what truly convinces are the results seen in people's lives. Over the years, I've accompanied many patients who, thanks to using mustard oil on their knees, experienced surprising changes. They were not miracles, but real improvements that restored quality of life. One of the cases that moved me most was Carmen, a 75-year-old woman who always loved dancing. In her youth, she took part in folk groups, and later she still enjoyed gatherings where traditional music was danced. However, over time, her knees became stiff. Whenever she tried to move, pain forced her to stop. She confided in me with tears in her eyes. "Doctor, I feel like I've lost a part of myself. Dancing was my joy, and now I can barely take a few steps." We began a simple plan: daily application of warm mustard oil with 10-minute massages. At first, she was skeptical because she had tried many treatments without success. But after several weeks of consistency, she called to tell me she had been able to move to the rhythm of the music again. She didn't do spectacular turns or big choreographies, but she did get to dance with her grandchildren at a family party. For her, that small achievement was a rebirth. Another case is Julian, an 80-year-old man who suffered severe morning stiffness. Every morning upon waking, he needed more than 20 minutes before he could take steady steps. He said his knees felt like blocks of cement. He himself had lost hope of improving, believing it was something inherent to age. However, he decided to try massages with mustard oil. After a month, he told me in surprise, "Doctor, now I get up and within 5 minutes I'm walking easily. I didn't think it was possible at my age." That change allowed him to regain independence, go out for early walks, and even tend his small garden again. What is most interesting is that even skeptical people notice changes. I remember Ernesto, 72, who told me at his first visit that he did not believe in home remedies. However, he agreed to try the oil because he had nothing to lose. 2 weeks later, he returned with a smile and admitted that, although he expected nothing, his knees felt lighter and less tense. He said, "I don't know if it's the oil or the massage, but something changed. And for the first time in years, I can walk several blocks without stopping." These testimonies show something fundamental. Knee stiffness does not have to condemn people to a limited life. Mustard oil does not replace medical care, nor erase the natural wear of years overnight, but it can be a powerful resource for regaining mobility and joy. When someone manages to dance again, tend the garden, or simply rise from bed without intense pain, their quality of life improves noticeably. Science can explain the mechanisms, but these real stories remind us of the value of simple solutions. Sometimes it is not about waiting for a revolutionary treatment, but about rescuing the wisdom of old practices and applying them consistently. What seems a humble remedy to some represents for others the difference between living limited or living with freedom. Habits that enhance the oil's effect. Mustard oil can be a great ally for easing knee stiffness, but its effect multiplies when combined with healthy habits. It is like a seed. By itself it has potential, but it needs the right soil to grow. In this case, that soil is made up of movement, diet, hydration, and rest. The first habit is to do gentle mobility exercises every day. We are not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights, but about simple movements that keep knees active. Walking slowly, going up and down a couple of steps, extending the legs while seated, or making circular knee movements are enough to keep muscles firm and circulation active. Many patients tell me they feel less stiffness when they do these exercises before applying the oil because the massage finds more receptive tissues and the joint responds better. The second habit is diet. The knees, like any part of the body, depend on the nutrients we take in. A diet rich in vegetables, fresh fruit, oily fish, nuts, and spices like turmeric provides natural anti-inflammatory compounds that help reduce stiffness. By contrast, ultra-processed foods, excess sugars, and saturated fats promote inflammation and worsen joint health. I recall Rosa, 77, who decided to change her diet at the same time she started oil massages. Within a few weeks, she not only felt relief in her knees, but also more overall energy. Hydration is the third pillar. It may sound simple, but water is essential for joints. Synovial fluid, the substance that lubricates the knees, depends directly on proper hydration. Many older adults drink little water, either because they feel less thirsty or because they want to avoid getting up at night to use the bathroom. However, that small habit weakens the joint's natural lubrication and favors stiffness. Drinking water throughout the day in moderate amounts is one of the simplest ways to care for your knees. Lastly, we cannot forget restorative sleep. At night, the body carries out repair and regeneration processes. Sleeping poorly or too few hours interrupts these processes and increases the sensation of pain and stiffness. A stable sleep routine with regular schedules helps the oil and massages have a longer-lasting effect. It is no coincidence that many patients tell me that after a good night's rest, their knees feel lighter the next day. In short, mustard oil is a valuable tool, but it does not act alone. When combined with movement, a balanced diet, adequate hydration, and good rest, it becomes part of a lifestyle that brings vitality back to the knees. It is not about seeking a single remedy, but about creating a set of habits that together make a difference in quality of life. What you must never do if you have stiffness. Just as there are habits that help improve knee stiffness, there are practices we must avoid at all costs. They are decisions that, although they may seem harmless at the time, can worsen pain over time, hasten wear, and further complicate joint health. The first mistake is self-medicating without control. Many people, tired of pain, turn to anti-inflammatories or painkillers on their own. Perhaps at first they feel relief, but what they do not see is that these drugs, used without medical supervision, can harm the stomach, kidneys, and liver. In addition, they mask symptoms without resolving the source of the problem. It is like covering a leak with a rag. On the outside, it looks solved, but inside, the damage continues. I know patients who for years relied only on pills, and when they wanted to act, they already had advanced osteoarthritis that almost completely limited their mobility. The second mistake is ignoring signs of chronic inflammation. Stiffness accompanied by heat, swelling, or pain that does not subside should not be taken lightly. Many times, these signs are an early warning of more serious problems, such as osteoarthritis or arthritis. Yet there are those who think it is normal for their age and decide to endure. Every day that passes without medical attention means more cartilage wear and greater risk of complications. Listening to the body is essential. Constant pain is never normal. It is always a signal that something needs care. A third very common mistake is trusting miracle products without evidence. The market is full of supplements, creams, or devices that promise to cure stiffness in a few days. The ads sound tempting. 100% natural, guaranteed results, or get your knees back like at 20. But behind those promises, there are almost never serious studies or medical backing. Spending money on dubious products can be useless and even dangerous if they contain unknown substances or cause adverse reactions. Finally, never forget the importance of consulting a specialist. Many people turn to advice from neighbors, relatives, or internet forums, but every case is different. What works for one person may be inappropriate for another. An orthopedic specialist, a rheumatologist, or a physical therapist can evaluate your specific situation and recommend the best treatment. It is not about discarding natural remedies, but about integrating them safely within a supervised care plan. I remember Dolores, a 79-year-old woman who came to the office after months of trying home remedies and unsupervised medications. She was desperate because stiffness had increased and she could barely walk. What she truly needed was a comprehensive plan, tailored exercises, regular medical checkups, and, as a complement, the use of mustard oil with massage. With that combination, she improved her mobility and regained confidence. The message is clear. Never self-medicate, do not ignore your body signals, be wary of miracle promises, and always seek professional guidance. Only then will you help your knees stay firm and flexible for longer. Over the years, I've received many questions from patients about using mustard oil to relieve knee stiffness. It is normal to have doubts because each person's health situation is different. Here, I will answer the most common ones, clearly and simply. What if I have a knee replacement? This is one of the most frequent questions. If you already have a prosthesis, the oil will not act on the artificial joint since it has no cartilage or synovial fluid. However, stiffness often does not come solely from the prosthesis, but also from the muscles and ligaments around it. In those cases, the oil can be useful to relax the area, improve circulation, and reduce muscle tension around the prosthesis. Of course, it is always advisable to discuss it with your specialist to ensure there are no contraindications in your specific case. Can people with diabetes or hypertension use it? Yes, people with diabetes or hypertension can use this oil topically, since it is not ingested and does not directly affect blood sugar or blood pressure. The only thing to keep in mind is the condition of the skin. If there is skin fragility, open wounds, or advanced diabetic neuropathy, it is important to be careful, test on a small area, and if possible, dilute the oil with a more neutral one like olive or coconut to avoid irritation. Is it better to apply it during the day or at night? Nighttime application is usually the most advisable. At night, the body enters a state of rest and repair, and the knees are not bearing the body's weight. This allows the oil to act more effectively. In addition, a nighttime massage helps you sleep more relaxed and can reduce morning stiffness. That said, some patients apply it in the morning to start the day with greater lightness. What matters most is consistency rather than the exact time. Can it be combined with physical therapy or medications? Not only can it be combined, but often it is ideal. Mustard oil does not replace medical treatments, it complements them. It can be used along with physical therapy exercises since prior massage prepares the muscles and facilitates movement. It is also compatible with medications as long as there is no specific contraindication indicated by the physician. Many orthopedic specialists see in this remedy a natural ally that enhances the results of traditional therapies. In summary, mustard oil is safe in most cases, provided it is used responsibly and alongside other care. The key is to see it as part of a comprehensive plan that includes good habits, exercise, diet, and of course, regular medical checkups. We have traveled a long road in this video, from understanding why knees stiffen with age to discovering a simple natural ally like mustard oil. We have seen common mistakes to avoid, habits that boost joint health, and testimonies of people who regain mobility and joy with consistency and discipline. It is important to remember that this oil is not magic. It will not give you brand new knees nor erase in full the wear accumulated over the years, but it can be a real and accessible ally to calm stiffness, improve circulation, and bring lightness back to steps once filled with pain. What makes the difference is not a single application, but consistency, correct technique, and integration with other care. I want to leave you with a motivating message. It is never too late to regain mobility and enjoy life. I have seen 80-year-olds walk with enthusiasm again, 75-year-old women return to dancing, and men who, after a long time, once more tended their gardens or played with their grandchildren. Every small achievement is worth it, and every habit that adds to your well-being is a step toward a fuller life. If you too have suffered knee stiffness, dare to try this simple method. Do it with patience, consistency, and always listening to your body. Remember that your health is your greatest treasure, and caring for it with small daily gestures can make an enormous difference in your quality of life. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments your age, where you are watching from, and whether you have tried any natural remedy for your knees. Would you try massages with mustard oil? Your experience can inspire and motivate many others facing the same challenges. If you found this content useful, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with those who need it. Together, we can create a community that supports one another on the path to healthier, happier aging.